20-minute job. It looked 20 minutes in their video. Hey folks, welcome to the Restoration Couple. In today's video, we're going to be looking at gates, but more importantly, how you can win some golden husband points. We're absolutely melting doing the roof on the cabin, so it was a case of finding a shady job, and I made a little purchase. Would you call it a budget? No?
I suppose so.
Well, compared to a lot of them, it was.
Yeah.
It's £200.
Good value.
Good value. £200 for a gate opener. So we're going to see if we can get this thing fitted and see how much easier it makes life. I've got a pro with me because Craig has fitted this already to his gate, so hopefully he knows a bit more than. Well, we might not even need the instructions. So some of this, if it's for a push open, you use different components. We don't need that piece apparently, which is good news. And there's a whole load of bonus bits in here as well.
You could mount that box onto the fence or something.
Well, that's what I thought. This is meant to be
box.
external, isn't it?
Yeah. And also because you're not using all the extra, you're not doing batteries and solar and all the rest of it. That's the power unit, and this is the control unit. There's not enough inlets for all the cables if you're doing power, solar, and AC and all the rest of it. Whereas you'll be fine because you're just doing AC.
20-minute job. Anybody, you're one of these knee pads.
I know it came in quite handy.
They come with everything. They've thought of everything. There's a flashy light beacon, which I don't think we need. This is the power supply unit. So if we want to, you can put solar. You can put like a leisure battery, and we've obviously got power relatively close, so we can run that in permanent supply. And then that is where all the brains is, which we can sort out later. And then there's these, which we would have to trench under a cable. So if you want to put a photo cell sensor, so if the car's in the way, it won't close and wreck your car, but we can add that on another day. We'll, for now, set it up so you press a button to close it. We're going to put a plate on the back of the gate to fix it all to, but it's only really a small bracket. We just worked it out so the height means that it catches the diagonal brace. It's a flat enough piece of steel there that we can get 2 bolts in there and then make the adjustment on the back of this I-beam.
Do it the old traditional way, use a manual screwdriver.
You old school. Analog.
We'll be measuring in inches soon.
Don't. If I mention inches on this channel, I'll get trolled. So far, so good. We haven't even got the instructions out. The 2 brackets are on the gate and the post. They're all bolted up now. We checked that as it opens, it doesn't foul on anything and it's doing what it's meant to be doing. Now we're going to get the control boxes in, and hopefully we can squeeze 2 of these in on a bit of old timber. This is a semi-permanent, few-year type project, which we can revisit, and when we redo all this in the future, we can obviously just move it and relocate and recalibrate it. So they're the 4 options, right? Solar, battery,
so
AC,
this is
and
your
one's out.
This is your AC. Then you've got solar, battery, and then your load that goes to the actual control panel. So this is all your power, power supply. That's your load. Obviously you're not doing it on backup battery. Solar, you would have another little controller to obviously control the solar.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise.
But we can put a battery on there as well as 240.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if your power went off, you could still
but there is, because that was one thing I was worried about, but there is a little override here.
Yeah.
So even if we lose our key fob, we can use it, we can tap that in the shed or something.
Yeah.
And we'll still lock it manually at night.
Yeah.
Craig, this is the DIY channel, and you're stealing the limelight. Can you put down the tools, please? I'm going to get told off. I had a fencer in last week in a video.
Well,
now I've got you here messing around with wires.
I wouldn't say I'm a professional though.
No, I know, but I'm stood here holding the camera. Everyone's going to think I've got a full production team behind us. Right, wiring is all in, all the boxes are in, so we're going to try and link up these, which it comes with 2 of them that can just sit in the car, but you have to link them to this, and we've also got a keypad which we need to code, and it corresponds to something in there as well, but it's all wireless. It works. Speed it. It stopped there?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's only the closing bit we need to adjust.
So we need to just tell it where to stop, otherwise it'll carry on going through.
We need to tighten that up, I reckon.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so there's a little screw that's under here that adjusts how far you want it to close, because if it, what's the word? If it has too much force, then it just goes into like reset mode or safety mode, and it will start opening again or closing.
So it would go too far as well if that post wasn't there. Yeah. But we do want it firm again. We want it to touch the post, don't we?
Yeah.
So someone tried to push the gate shut now. One of the kids.
Now.
Could they? And they'd realise it's not going to shut. Yeah, yeah. And the good thing is the wind's not going to do anything on a gate like this.
Well, it's not solid either.
That's what I mean. Like if it was just a big wooden gate.
Remember, obviously it is a long old gate. There's a lot of leverage you're putting on there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if someone came along and didn't know it had an opener, if they tried to push it open.
Do you know what? There's a sign in the box. You
can be prepared for death.
Warning.
Yeah, that's quite severe, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I mean, sliding gates are pretty dangerous, to be fair. You hear some horror stories, don't you? Kids getting crushed. So.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's more for that. So if there's enough force or resistance, if it's running into a car, my mother-in-law's car, it's not going to go.
I'm not going to say it won't dent it, but let's use me as an example. Risking my life here.
God, the things you do for the channel.
I know.
Yeah, okay, so that's not going to do any damage to anything, really, is it?
And you can obviously you can increase the force, so it will keep pushing me. But I'll put it on the min setting, and then
So, but you don't have to reset anything over there. Just the key will still work.
It'll just go the opposite way to it was closed. So if I press now, it'll close it again.
Yeah.
For the money, you can't.
And I can't remember what this was. £200, wasn't it? 250.
I think it's just sub 300 quid, isn't it? 280.
259.
Oh.
Was 289.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it must have been one of those magical Amazon sales.
Just when we've been all talking about it, listening in. So 259, and then 40 quid for the keypad, which seems quite a lot, but it is completely weather sealed, isn't it? And it's wireless.
IP rated.
Wonder how long the batteries last.
Well, they give you a spare set of batteries in the box.
Yeah. Right, how do I get in now?
You see, welcome to Craig's Hodgepodge.
Right, believe it or not, it's been about 3 months since we installed this, and it's time for a bit of a review and also show you what went wrong. So unfortunately what happened is a delivery driver who didn't know it was a automatic gate pushed it hard and just kept on forcing it until it opened. And what happens at that point is the bolt shears intentionally. So once it's calibrated, your bolt sits in here. You can see this is the one that's sheared off. So that kind of saves the motor. It's meant to happen like that. So really all we need to do, I hope, is to get that one back in. I've got a new bolt here, but I think we might need to calibrate it a little bit so it shuts all the way. In. I knew I'd need help, and I can't be bothered to read the manual, so I just called up Craig, because basically what's happening is it's shutting but then kind of hitting the post, thinking it's hit someone, and then reopening. So now I've got it to the point where we want it. Craig said there's this screw under here which has the sensor, so we need to adjust that back towards the motor. Hopefully get it a little bit tighter so it holds tighter. Perfect. That's as good as it was before, if not better. The problem is if you have it too much, if you're closing too far, it's going to hit and then bounce back, and if you've driven through and not stopped the other side to make sure it closes, then it can bounce back open, and then you end up with sheep down the lane, or well, dog down the lane. Whereas the opposite is if we don't have it tight enough, then there might be a little bit of a gap, and also it means that someone might try and force it. I think the key to the whole thing is we're going to have a label on a little label on the top of the gate just saying automatic gate, use the other one, because the right hand half is manual. So all in all, great bit of kit. Pretty easy to install, especially once you've done it once. And I think really once this is up and running, unless it is forced open again, and if it is, it's just a case of changing that bolt out. For us this is less about security because it's all dead bolted and locked and chained up at night anyway. It's more about just during the day the coming and going and making that more efficient. So in theory, the code, I shouldn't have got a code one, you can just get one that's a simple button. That way I can put a button on the post and it just says press to open, and then if it was a delivery driver or something like that, that's a bit more straightforward. Otherwise maybe just leaving the label on there, and if someone needs to come in they can open the other gate and come through that way. Well, I'm glad that's sorted. We've actually been out of action for about 3 or 4 weeks, and you soon realise how much you rely on automatic gates when you don't have them, especially when it's absolutely peeing it down. I actually think it could also be an awesome farm present. If you have fields that you have gates in between, sometimes if that's a main access point, you're going to be going through, you know, 10 times a day, and if it's a really rubbish gate like all of ours, then you're going to struggle and it all adds up. So a little solar kit with one of those is pretty straightforward. You can install one down there, and actually by the time you get back in your truck, drive through, or your tractor, it doesn't take long before a sheep follows you through or whatever. So maybe that could actually save some time and some hair, because escaping sheep is no fun for anyone. This is not a sponsored video in any way. I only use that brand because Craig suggested it, but I will put a link to it because so far it's been really good. And I know Craig, when he needed to order an extra part or something, they were straight on it and it came out next day. So I'll put the link down in the description and you can go and head over and find that for yourself. This was the heavy duty one, and they also sell it in a pair, so if you had big fancy driveway gates, then you could do the same and they're coordinated. I think at that point you'd need to just channel under a bit of conduit to run the power to the other side, and also if you want to run sensors you can do that photocell sensor. I'm simply making the most of the dry weather. This is a one-off blue sky day. We're back to the rain tomorrow, so I'm doing a few jobs around the farm and then we're back onto the cabin. It's all plastering in there, hence why I'm coated in plaster, and why Jo is as well. She's been doing it with me, and hopefully we'll be ready for painting next week. Now somewhere right down there in the very distance are 7 pigs that are really not meant to be there. They're meant to be here. And that's my afternoon gone. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.